morning, Brussels. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today to explore a topic that's often misunderstood, but vital to our health: fats, and more specifically, omega-3 fatty acids. For years, we've been told it's dangerous, something to avoid. But what if the truth is more complex and more powerful? Let's begin by challenging a long-standing belief that fat is the foe. For decades, especially in the 80s and 90s, fat was vilified. Low-fat yogurts, fat-free cookies. Ironically, during this low-fat craze, obesity and diabetes rate soared. Because while we feared fat, we overdosed on sugar and ultra-processed food. But is fat really the bad guy, or have we misunderstood most of our, most vital nutrients? Not all fats are created equal. Some harm us, some heal us. Our brains are about 60% fat. Our hormones rely on fat. And our cell membranes are built from fat. So let's clarify. Today we will untangle this story, understand what fat really is, the different types, and why omega-3 fats, the right fats, can protect our cells, our brain, and our hearts. So let's take a step back. What actually happens when we eat? Our body is so smart. Nothing gets wasted. Carbohydrates becomes glucose, proteins becomes amino acids, and fats becomes fatty acids and glycerol. Then the body decides, do I use it now, store it, or build something with it? Glucose is burned really fast, but when the tank is already full, the body stores the extra energy as fat, usually as triglycerides. And fats? They are used for energy, for storage, and for building the membranes that keeps our cells alive and working. But here is the key point. No matter what we eat, sugar, protein, or fat, if we eat more than we need, the body stores it as fat, the so-called triglycerides. So what are these triglycerides? And why do they matter? Think of them as energy packages. One molecule of glycerol with 3 fatty acids attached. This is the body's main storage form of fat. They can be used as energy, stored again in fat cells, or built into cell membranes. And that is where it gets interesting, because the type of fat, what we eat, shapes the flexibility and function of every single cell. So let me introduce you to the fat family. And just like in any family, not everybody gets along. We start with the troublemakers, the trans fats. Artificial, industrial, not found in nature. They sneak into fried snacks and ultra-processed food, like twisted party straws. They don't belong in the body. They don't directly make you fat, but they damage your cell membranes, block communication, and trigger chronic low-grade inflammation. Next comes the saturated fats, found in butter, cheese, fatty meats, and also produced by your body when you eat more sugar than you burn. They are straight and stiff, like thick plastic straws. Saturated fats are the body's preferred storage form. If you gain weight, this is the type of fat that builds up. Now we come to the unsaturated fats, the flexible straws. Found in olive oil, like the omega-9, nuts and avocados. They have one gentle bend, like a straw that gives little but stays stable. It helps keep membranes smooth and responsive without promoting inflammation. Then we have omega-6. Omega-6 is essential. It supports immune defense and helping the body by triggering inflammation when needed. But we consume far too much of it because it's hidden in some foods. Too much shifts your system toward chronic inflammation because of the imbalance with omega-3. And omega-3, it has the most double bonds, the most flexibility. Think of it like a flowing scarf in a sea of straws. It builds soft, dynamic membranes where receptors float, signals pass, and cells can stay adaptable and calm. You find it in fatty fish, walnuts, and in algae. So if you want to protect your membranes and reduce stored fat, cut back on sugar, saturated fat, and processed oils, and make space for the fats that help your body stay in balance. And these are the ones in the fat family that actually gets along, the omega-3 family. And omega-3 isn't just one molecule, it's a family with a lot of members. And 3 of them are very important. They work together, but they are not equal. ALA, EPA, and DHA. Let's take a closer look at each of them. ALA, or alpha-linolenic acid, is the plant-based omega-3. You'll find it in flaxseed, in chia, walnuts, and rapeseed oil. It has antioxidant properties and supports the cell protection. ALA is known as a short-chain omega-3. This means your body has to convert it into longer-chain EPA and DHA to synthesize it. The body can convert ALA, but only a tiny amount becomes EPA or DHA. And because that conversation is so limited, we need to get EPA and DHA directly from the food. EPA is like a firefighter in your body. Not because it blocks inflammation, but because it knows when to stop the fire. Inflammation is not the enemy. It's necessary to fight, to repair, to protect. But if it keeps burning, it causes damage. EPA sends the stand down signal. It helps your body resolve inflammation, not just reduce it. Because of that, it builds resolvines, tiny peacekeeper messengers that say, you've done your job, now step back, so the vessels can relax and your body can recover. That's why EPA supports smooth blood flow, immune balance, and recovery. And then comes DHA, the builder. That's our architect. Over 90% of the omega-3s in the brain are DHA. It builds and maintains the brain, the retina, and the entire nervous system. It supports cognitive function, vision, synaptic plasticity, learning, memory, and emotional stability. In early development, DHA is critical for the brain growth. Without enough DHA, our cells can't connect. Our brain slows down and development suffers, especially in babies and young children. In adulthood and aging, it protects cognition and slows decline. You can't think clearly if your brain structure isn't fluid, and you can't build that structure without DHA. So why do we need omega-3? Because omega-3 is essential, not just because we cannot produce it, but because our cells cannot function without it. With its multiple double bonds, omega-3 is ultra flexible. It integrates into cell membranes like a soft, flowing fabric, keeping them fluid, responsive, and open for communication. Without it, membranes stiffen and everything slows down. That is how it supports the brain, the heart, and the entire immune system. In blood vessels, it relaxes the vessel walls, improving circulation, and it supports anti-inflammatory effects. And it does something really surprising. It is influencing gene expression in the liver. So it slows down the fat production and speeds up the fat burning. Omega-3 doesn't just work in the bloodstream and vessels. It has downstream effects all over the body. It helps with focus and memory because it builds neuronal membranes. It improves recovery after exercise by reducing inflammation in the muscles. It makes your skin glow because membranes stay hydrated and elastic. And this isn't magic. It's only a small molecule with a wide impact and a difference you can feel with time. Now, let's talk about cholesterol. Cholesterol is often misunderstood. Cholesterol is also not your enemy. It's essential for hormone production, like estrogen and testosterone. It forms vitamin D and bile acids. And 95% of it is located in your cell membranes, where it ensures stability and function. It is important to know that your liver produces about 80% of your cholesterol. Only 20% comes from food. So blaming a single egg, that's really unfair. And understanding the role of LDL and HDL cholesterol helps us manage our health effectively. When we often talk about good and bad cholesterol, we actually mean transport proteins. LDL is called the bad one, but it is only the delivery van who delivers cholesterol to the tissues where it's needed. HDL is the good one. I call it the how do I love you cholesterol. It's like the cleanup crew. It brings cholesterol back to the liver for recycling or disposal. It's anti-inflammatory, it's protective, and a key player in cardiovascular health. But LDL only becomes harmful when it gets oxidized. That can happen through smoking, poor diet, or chronic inflammation. Then it turns sticky, irritates the vessel wall, and triggers plaque. And here is where fats come in. Omega-3 reduces that oxidative stress. It stabilizes LDL particles and helps clear them from the bloodstream. It doesn't just fight the damage, it helps prevent it from the start. And today, I want to show you what can actually happen inside our blood vessels. So imagine this entire hall is a human body. And in this human body, we have a lot of vessels. And I brought a really special vessel with me today because it's transparent. So we can have a look inside and can see what's happening there. And I have there a red scarf. And this scarf is symbolizing the blood flow. And now we choose an unhealthy diet, an unhealthy lifestyle. So let's start with the trans fats. The trans fats, they are damaging the membranes, also the membrane of the vessels, also the membrane of the red blood cells, and they cause chronic inflammation. So let's throw one inflammation ball in our vessel. Then I decide to eat a lot of sugar, but not only sugar, a lot of everything. So I have an imbalance between unsaturated fatty acids and saturated fatty acids. They can stiffen my membrane, so also my vessel wall and also my red blood cells. And because of my unhealthy lifestyle, my cholesterol level rises, but not the good one, the bad one, the LDL cholesterol. Let's throw it inside, and let's throw another inflammation ball inside. And now, because of the chronic inflammation, the unhealthy diet, stress, lack of sleep, and also because of toxins, my LDL gets oxidized. And this oxidized LDL can injure my vessel wall. And that leads to plaque. and 60% of the over 40-year-old people outside there, they already have plaque in their vessels. Can I feel that? No. Can I feel stiff vessels? No. Can I feel the early build-up of plaque? No. But if a plaque blocks a wall or ruptures, then it might be too late. So, what can I do? I can live a healthy lifestyle. Don't throw so many bad decisions in your body. Some of them are okay, because we are human beings and we would like to have fun in our life. But be careful with it. But what is now the role of omega-3? So let's bring omega-3 in play. Here is our omega-3. And the omega-3 is fluid and flexible. So my membranes became also flexible. My blood flow is more fluid. It helps against oxidative stress. It clears up the blood from LDL, and it helps against chronic inflammation. So a healthy lifestyle combined with omega-3 can lead us to healthy vessels. And this is a decision. It's a lifestyle decision. It's yours to make, and it's yours to share, because the power to protect our vessels is in our hands. It's in your hands. It's your choice. But how much omega-3 do we actually need to support the transformation? There are many opinions about omega-3, but even more confusion when it comes to the right dose. So how much omega-3 should we actually take? Most official guidelines agree. Around 250 milligrams of EPA and DHA per day, that's about 1 to 2 servings of fatty fish per week. Some countries go further. In places like the UK or Scandinavia, the target is nearly double that. And the American Heart Association recommends up to 1 gram or 1,000 milligrams per day, especially for people at cardiovascular risk. And I agree absolutely with that recommendations. But let's be honest, most people don't eat that much fatty fish. So a high-quality supplement can be a smart and a reliable way to close this gap. But if omega-3 is so great, why not take more? Well, here's where we need clarity. Some people argue that the official recommendations are too low, but we have to remember the dose makes the difference. Once we go above certain thresholds, omega-3 can have pharmaceutical effects, and pharmaceutical effects can have side effects, and that comes with responsibility. Higher doses can thin the blood or interact with certain medications. That's why institutions like the EFSA, the German Federal Institute for Risk Assessment, and the FDA set clear upper limits, not because omega-3 is harmful, but because it's not about more. It's about the right dose for the right reason, in the right form. And that means that the quality matters most. Now that we've seen why more is not always better, let's talk a little bit what really matters, the quality. One important marker for omega-3 is the TOTOX value, a combined measure of oxidation. It tells us how fresh the oil is. The lower the TOTOX, the better. Less damage, more stability, better absorption, and less risk of rancidity. According to international standards, a TOTOX value under 26 is considered safe, but truly fresh and high-quality oils stay below 10. And that matters because oxidized oil doesn't just lose its effect, it can even become harmful. Only fresh oil delivers full benefit. The question isn't just how much in which quality do I take? It's what do I want to achieve? How do we know if all this, the quality, the dose, the form, really makes a difference. Therefore, two values matter and tell us the full story. First, the omega-3 index. It tells us how much omega-3 is built into our red blood cells. That matters because it reflects what's available in the body. The goal is 8 to 12%. Below 4 means we're running low. Second, the omega-6 to 3 ratio. This shows the balance between inflammation and resolution. Ideally, it should be balanced under 5 to 1, but in modern diets we often see 20 to 1 or higher. And that fuels chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalance, and long-term risk for your all-over health. So the goal isn't just to add more omega-3s, it's to rebalance the scale. And the only way to know if your intake is working is to measure it. But no, don't worry. You don't need to get tested yourself. Because that's exactly what we did for you. As a physician, I wanted to know what happens in real life, and together with my colleague, Dr. Norbert Bernd, we launched a structured case study in our medical practice. Over 50 individuals were tested before and after taking 1 gram of high-quality omega-3 daily. And here, I have to say a heartfelt thank you to Ludo Bulcato and Olga Mazur, because this project would not have been possible without you. And most of all, a big thank you to doTerra for making this possible, for believing in science, for believing in us, and for giving us products we can really trust. So if you want to know what exactly we found and what this could mean for your body and your health, then join us today at the Terra Talks.